Now we are going to start ninth standard science unit 19 plant physiology. Very important and interesting chapter. What are the learning objectives? The students will be able to know that the plants to have certain autonomic movements, understand different types of movement in plants, differentiate tropic movement from nastic movement, gain knowledge of transpiration, understand that plants produce their food through the process of photosynthesis as they are autotrophs in nature, then understand the process of transpiration. We'll learn one by one. So we know that the animals move in search of food. That is, there is a process called as locomotion movement in animals. But isn't that interesting to know that the plants are also having the movement or locomotion? So we have observed that the leaves of the touch me not plant closes on touching, right? Whereas the picture plant closes about when the insect come inside, it closes, it traps the insect as food. So all these kind of movement are also triggered by an external stimuli. So, unlike animals, plants do not move from one place to another, but they can show movement towards sunlight, water, and nutrients, and also some sensitive external factor like insect, all this stuff which we have discussed right now. So, these kind of movement in plants, or the movement generally the unidirectional movement of a part or the whole plant towards any kind of stimuli is known as tropism. So the tropism can be of various types. First is phototropism. As the word mentions, photo generally refers to sun, right? So sunlight, the movement of plant part towards the light shoot of the plant, that is phototropism. Then geotrophism, as the word suggests, geo, towards the gravity, earth, so the root of the plant. Next is hydrotropism, as the word suggests, plant movement, that the root of the plant is moving towards the in search of water. Thigmotropism, that is touch me not plant can also be an example for this. Chemotropism, as the word suggests, chemo is with response to the chemicals. So tropism is generally termed as positive if the growth is towards the stimuli or the signal, and negative if away from the signal. How do we understand this? You can take the example of the spot where, okay, I will draw it separately, that is fine. Here you are having sunlight. Here is a plant. Here it's shoot system and this is the root system. Now the shoot system moves towards the or grows towards the stimuli sunlight. So here it is having a positive tropism. Whereas the root system is moving away from the sunlight, it is having the negative tropism. So can you understand the difference between, if sun is going to be the stimuli in this case, the shoot system is showing a positive tropism, whereas the root system which is moving away from the stimuli is showing the negative tropism. So this was about positive and negative tropism. If you want to understand it more clearly, I will give you one more example. Take this plant with a shoot system and a root system. Here is water. So water is now the stimuli. So the root system will show positive by growing towards the stimuli water, whereas the shoot system is growing upward, right? So it is moving away from the stimulus water. So here it is negative tropism. Now we'll move to the next. Usually the shoot system of the plant is positively phototrophic and negatively geotrophic, and root system is negatively phototrophic and positively geotropic. Hope you understand this sentence with the explanation given above. Now coming to the nastic movements. So these are non-directional movements based on the stimuli. Okay, we'll observe this with the help of an activity. So take a glass and fill it with the sand. Keep a flower pot containing water plugged at the bottom center of the glass through. Place some soaked pea or bean seeds and observe around the pots. And what do you observe after 6 or 7 days? Record your observation. So do this activity and try to understand what kind of tropism you are able to observe, positive, negative, and the movements of those seedling shoot system and root system you can observe. Now we are going to see the nastic movements. First is photonasty. As the word suggests, photo always refers to the light. Here the sunlight. So movement of the part of the plant in response to light. So blooms in the morning and closes in the evening. Okay. Next, thigmonasty with response to the touch. Next, there is some difference between the trophism and nastic movements. So trophism is a kind of unidirectional with response to the stimulus, either upwards or downwards, either towards or away, that is either positive or negative. So whereas the nastic movements are non-directional. So these are growth dependent and these are growth independent. Generally tropic movements are permanent and reversible. Once the shoot system is grown upwards, it cannot become small, right? Whereas here it is temporary and reversible, that is the blooming of flower, all this stuff. So I already discussed about the picture plant. Like this, another one plant is there, that is Venus flytrap. So it presents a spectacular example of thigmonasty, where the insect, when touches this plant, the fastest movement is to close its mouth so that it can consume the prey insect. Next one is thermonasty. Thermo, the word is referring in heat as the stimuli, so with response to the change in temperature. Now coming to the photosynthesis, the most important and the beautiful process of a living plant. That is, photosynthesis can be divided into two words, photo and synthesis. Photo means light, synthesis means to build or to produce. So what is the process going to produce? Glucose, water and oxygen as products. So carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, chlorophyll are the raw materials. These raw materials will combine to produce glucose, water and oxygen. Can you understand? Green plants are known as producers because they are autotrophs in nature. I want to ask a question. Who prepares food in your home? Your mother, right? So she uses the raw materials to prepare the food. Similarly, plants have the ability to produce their own food without the dependence on other living organisms. Hence, they are known as autotrophs or producer. They use the raw materials, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water, sunlight and chlorophyll, the special green pigment present in green plants. So these raw materials combine to form glucose, that is the source, the food source, water and oxygen. So this process is called as photosynthesis. So two activities have been given here. You can observe that. So these are the four important necessary raw materials. The chlorophyll, that is the green pigment responsible for the process of photosynthesis. Then water, carbon dioxide and sunlight. The next process which we are going to observe in plant is transpiration. That is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the leaves. So here is the structure of stomata, which is present in the surface of leaf. So it is protected by guard cell. So two guard cell, which is bean shaped structure, will form a gap between them. That gap portion is actually stomata. Okay, this stomata is responsible for the exchange of O2 and CO2. So it releases O2 and takes out CO2, and that's also responsible for transpiration process, where it releases out water molecules to the atmosphere. So transpiration can take place through stomata and also through cuticle, then lenticels. So lenticels. Okay, there are three types of transpiration. Now the exchange of gases. I already told this stomatal pore is also responsible for the exchange of gases. So the air exchange takes place. Plants exchange gases CO2 and O2 continuously through stomata. So we discussed the chapter. Now we are going to the important points to be remembered. The growth movement whose direction is determined by the direction of stimulus is called tropism. Its non-directional response towards the plant part of the stimuli is the nastic movement. The process of which plants prepare their food is called photosynthesis. The loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts, three aerial parts we discussed, that process transpiration, and stomata are a minute opening on the leaves. So these were the important topics, and the glossary given is phototrophism. You know that it's with response to the sunlight. Geotrophism with response to the gravity, earth. Hydrotrophism with response to water stimulus. Thigmotrophism with response to the touch stimulus. Chemotrophism chemical. Thigmonasty again its response to the touch. Photonasty with response to the light. One more was the thermonasty, that is non-directional movement of plant part with response to the heat. So this was all about the chapter plant physiology. Thank you.